Hey Redesigners, guess what?
Hello.
You caught us at another luxury RV resort, just living a life of Riley, having a great time. We're here in Chuckle-Winity, North Carolina still. We are at a Thousand Trails property. We are at Thousand Trails Twin Lakes RV Resort, and yes, we are living like kings and queens, all while spending that big money on RV resorts. Well, actually, that's not true. We have spent a lot of money over the past couple of years at some really nice resorts. This is not one of them. Well, that's what we're going to share with you guys today, because you're always like, hey, you guys are great talkers about Thousand Trails, but what about those other places you're at? Are you spending boku bucks? That's the word they use, boku. Are you taking free stays at places to mention them? I don't know. But we're going to cover over all the high-end places that we've stayed and some of the low-end places that were not part of Thousand Trails and how much it costs. And by the way, if you happen to find my socks, I'm always missing one out of every pair.
You know, we haven't had a missing sock since we moved.
That must be because of all the money we spend, high-end resorts. And by the way, here, over all these things right here, half of them, that's out of order. That's out of order. The machine over there is out of order. Well, hell, even Karri.
This one is out of order for reals.
She's out of order. Catch you in a minute. Now, first we got to discuss Thousand Trails, right? That's where we spend the bulk of our time on the road. We spend them in Thousand Trails parks. Now, everybody has a style of RV living, whether you're boondocking, pop-up tenting, whether you're camping. We just found out about bike camping thanks to Facebook. We still love you guys, no matter what. But we all have a different need and desire while we're out here. Now, for me, I have to be, along with the Pedestal Princess, plugged in because I work about 45 to 50 hours a week. And well, I work 6 days a week on a good week, and I need all those services. But Thousand Trails has fit the bill pretty much across the country, hands down. And on average, we're paying $4 a night, which is absolutely insane when you think about it. Now, a lot of these other places, when there isn't a Thousand Trails nearby, there's a place that we want to go, or sometimes we've been to a Thousand Trails and we just didn't feel like being there. And every once in a while, she has to get pampered a little bit, and we want to go somewhere nice. Well, that's where the rest of these are going to come in. Now, we're going to just randomly throw these out there. There's no order. There's really no order or anything into our lives at this point anyway. But we're going to start off with the first one.
Crossroads.
Crossroads. We just came out in Lake City, South Carolina. It was about an hour outside of Myrtle Beach. And well, we didn't want to pay Myrtle Beach Park prices because we're going to be meeting our kids there, because we've been up to shenanigans bringing the band back together. Now, we could have stayed at some of those other hoity-toity fancy RV resorts, and we have from time to time. We like it there. But we chose the Rob because it was out of the way, and it was really cheap for what they offered. Full hookups, central location, close to 95, close to Myrtle Beach, and it only cost us
$635 for the month.
For the entire month. Now, that's taxes, everything included.
Now, keep in mind, they picked up your trash for you.
Every day.
The laundry was free.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, it was a beautiful spot.
The people were absolutely phenomenal. The area had so much to offer as an up-and-coming place.
Packages we got for free. They didn't charge you for packages.
And boy, did we load up on the Amazon Prime shopping. And we got all this stuff done. And best part was, while we were gone for a week, they watched our rig. So really, the absolutely incredible service for what we got for the dollar, which shows you that a lot of these places that we stay, even when they're not part of Thousand Trails, are very affordable. And did I mention I washed my rig and truck there?
Yeah.
Absolutely free, concrete pad, and they had $1 million landscaping. The caveat to the place was, of course, that there was trains running through pretty much every half hour. And it took a little bit of getting used to. In fact, being a month removed from the RV park itself, I'm still hearing trains in my head, and I'm having flashbacks. It's absolutely incredible. Okay, now we're going to talk Myrtle Beach. Since we've just talked about the Rob and Crossroads, we're going to talk about, well, one of our favorite places to go for long extended stays, which is
The Myrtle Beach Travel Park.
And we like to stay there on their monthly winter specials. And a lot of this has to do, and this is very important, it has to do with staying off season.
Yeah.
Because we can save mega money and still pick up a lot of the amenities of the resort. Staying at Myrtle Beach Travel Park, and we're getting all the amenities, which really isn't a whole lot. You have a laundry room, they have a store. They used to have mail, they don't anymore.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But you're right on the beach, which is fantastic. I don't care what time of the year it is. And it costs us how much a month?
$1,200.
$1,200
For the
a month.
In Myrtle Beach.
In Myrtle Beach, which
on
is...
the ocean.
Right. Did we mention it's on the beach? So we are living that luxury life. And all my internet works, everything works. And when I'm done at the end of the day, and this is a big thing, when I'm done at the end of my workday, I can actually just step out of the rig, go onto the beach, and just go for a walk. A lot of these wouldn't necessarily be vacations for us, but it is nice that sometimes, you know, to have something different than the norm.
Definitely.
It's been great. Now, speaking of Myrtle Beach,
we're going to move on to Lakewood.
We're going to move on to Lakewood, which, if you haven't caught our rankings of Myrtle Beach RV parks, Lakewood is our #1 pick. And in fact, we'll be back this year as well. Lakewood, we haven't had a month-long stay, but we have stayed for a couple of weeks, and again, in the off-season. And even in the off-season, it's not cheap, but Lakewood has a great vibe, a great family feel, and we pay how much money?
$400 a week on the off-season, but again.
And this was a lakeside spot with geese all around, and we also were within maybe 100 feet of the beach. We were right there. We had everything that we needed. Great environment, great hospitality.
And
awesome
you have
place.
to think too, so we paid a little bit more, but every grocery store, anything that we needed was in a couple mile radius. You weren't traveling, so we were saving gas. So what we pay in RV park stays sometimes makes up for in gas and other things like that.
There's some of these places that we've been, so many of these Thousand Trails parks are in such remote places. A lot of these back up to nature reserves that, well, it takes you an hour to go into town to get supplies. And then if you want to go out to the movies or the princess wants some popcorn, that all adds up. But if you're in a centrally located area, you can save a lot of money as well. All right, sticking with our Myrtle Beach theme, one of our least favorite places to stay, but we're going to go back and give it a shot just because you, the viewers, have told us that we need to get back there because apparently we missed something, is
Ocean Lakes.
Ocean Lakes. Now, this was our first stop in our full-time life because Karri and I wanted to treat each other to a nice little time away as we made the transition from our Winnebago to our Grand Design. We stayed there for about a week, and how much did that cost us?
It was roughly $400 for the week.
So similar to Lakewood. Now, Ocean Lakes does have a mail service. I think you pay per package there. It's maybe $1 or $2. They actually had a really big store, which was surprising. A nice indoor pool, which we utilized there, one of the only times we have. And we had a great time, concrete pad right by the beach. And again, you're paying for location. This was the first time in my life ever that I've been outside of an office that I've worked remote from my RV. And I got to stare at palm trees and water just all day long. It was absolutely fantastic. And I probably would have moved there, but we like to be on the road. So that was Ocean Lakes, and the next one, Karri,
is Rivers End and Tybee Island.
All right, now when we left Myrtle Beach, we were still waiting for our Thousand Trails package to kick in, so we had a few months to kill because we thought it was going to be instantaneous in that transfer, and it clearly wasn't. So Karri and I in a scramble said we can't afford these high luxury prices of Myrtle Beach because it's expensive after a while. Yeah. We did find Tybee Island thanks to
Facebook.
Facebook post by a viewer.
Yeah.
And Tybee Island is in Georgia, and it is an island. And it's actually really nice. It was a very strong Key West vibe. And we paid how much for that month, Karri?
About $1,100.
$1,100, and here's the rub. Again, they had free package services. That's where Karri got her electric bike shipped to her, and no charge. They had it waiting for us. They even delivered it to our site. They had all kinds of little things there. They had a beautiful pool. They had great amenities, and in February, the weather was warm enough that we could just leave our rig, go for a walk right on the beach, and we get to watch all kinds of cargo ships coming through and everything else. Absolutely incredible time, and really, we got to check out some great basketball from
Georgia State.
Georgia State, because I'll never forget how many times they said, Georgia State basketball. Now, these next two came out of relatively necessity. We had been scheduled to stay at a Thousand Trails Park in Alabama, Hidden Cove, and we got there and internet was atrocious. This was before we had connected, but we couldn't get a signal, and I was a little too hesitant to sit there and try to figure it out, as we were told that it would be maybe okay. So in a scramble, we knew we had to be in Kentucky in a few weeks. Well, we called around and we found
Raccoon Valley in Tennessee,
which is
Haskell. It's an escapees park
right outside of Pigeon Forge, maybe a half hour away. And wow, was I blown away, because she got the deal of the lifetime, which was how much?
We paid $50 for the membership, and then we paid $350, but that was for 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
So
Now,
that was pretty cool.
keep in mind, this place didn't have a pool. This didn't have all the luxury stuff, but they had a laundry room that was phenomenal. All the place was gravel. Everything was great. People were quiet, and it was cheap.
The packages came to you.
Oh yeah, they delivered our
great.
new dinette straight to our site, which
Yeah.
was amazing. And on top of it, we got an escapees membership so we could save money, which we laughed at the time, but it did come in handy, because not only did it save us money on that particular stay, but it saved us money on our next stay as well, because we were in Indian Lakes in Indiana with a Thousand Trails Park, and we could not get a full hookup site, which means we would have to use that little wagon for the poo. And I had a heavy work week. I didn't want to be bothered, so we were heading towards Texas, so we looked for something along the lines.
Yeah, and we went to Turkey Creek,
Which is
another escapees park.
Which is right outside of Branson, Missouri. So we got to take in all the Branson sites.
That was pretty
and
cool.
That cost us how much?
$350 for 2 weeks.
For 2 whole weeks. And again, peaceful setting within walking distance to downtown Branson. Absolutely phenomenal. And again, no pool, but they had a clean laundry room. They had all the utilities that we needed. Everything was great. And we met some YouTubers there as well. Great time. Let us wash our rig. We learned so much about just different styles of doing things. It was great. Great time. Highly recommend. If you don't have escapees on your list, you might want to put them on there, because they've saved our butt a couple of times. Now, as Karri and I try to play the game of dodge the goose poop, as we try to get these shots so you can see how awesome this place is, we're going to come up on a couple of different ways of doing Thousand Trails. Now, if you have Thousand Trails, that's great, but they also have a package called the Trails Collection Plus, which allows you to stay at Encore Properties. Now, with Encore Properties, you go, oh, what is that, Mr. Fancy Pants?
So
well,
cool.
this let us have 2 resorts, not 1, but 2, for a full month stay in the Florida Keys.
Yeah.
And the first one we stayed at was
Sunshine Key.
Sunshine Key,
Favorite.
which Karri absolutely loved.
Love it, love it.
Now, we were able to score 2 weeks there, which was phenomenal. And with our Thousand Trails membership, it only cost us an additional $20 per night,
Yeah.
which we stayed 2 weeks at Sunshine Key, which cost us
About $320.
for about $320, all said and done with taxes and everything. But you're in the Keys, man.
It was
And
so beautiful.
absolutely incredible. The sunsets were worth the price of admission alone. Full hookups again, so I could get my work done. Everything was great. Blast. And Karri and I spent an awful lot of time on Duval Street just getting sideways and having fun with the locals. Great time. Can't beat it. Now, not to be outdone, because this is a 2-for back-to-back chicken shack, as we like to say, we got Fiesta Key thrown in there, which is another Encore property about an hour up the road. And still in the Keys, still great vibe, still beautiful sunsets, still cost us
$20 a night.
and it cost us $320
for the 2 weeks.
2 weeks. And we also met some other YouTubers
Yep.
there as well. And we had a great time. Fiesta Key was a little more rowdy than what we were used to. And I think might have been some of this was a little bit because it was the tail end of the season. But for $20 a night, you put me in the Keys, I don't care who's there. Steve can bring all his shirtless friends and they can tell me how much I'm missing by not boondocking, but it will be okay because I'll be in the Florida Keys wearing my WrestleMania t-shirt. Absolutely great time. Worth the price of the add-on for Thousand Trails Truck Collection plus 5, 6 Alpha 4 or whatever it is. Worth it every time.
Yeah.
Now, not to be outdone, and you can't talk going to the Florida Keys without talking about the #1 promoted campground in The Keys, period, hands down, is
Boyds.
we had the luxury of spending 4 nights in Boyds, and I thought I was going to, on the way out, that they were going to have to put me to work because, wow, was this expensive. This was probably our most expensive stay, period, when you break it down on a per night charge. We stayed about 3 or 4 nights, and it cost us
$540.
and that's pre-tax, folks, because they don't play around about taxes down there.
No.
I will say this. The location is everything. Everything is about this place is location. The staff wasn't that great. They rushed me in to back in, and I like to take my time as I give a master class on my backing in skills.
Well, I mean, we had just driven like
we had driven straight down from New Hampshire.
Time, okay? And then when he's trying to back in, the guy was yelling, go left, go left. No, your other left. And now keep in mind, he's not being quiet whatsoever.
And
nonetheless, it's a beautiful place.
This was before we were full-time, so
Yeah.
my masterclass skills of backing an RV into a spot were not yet there, and definitely not at their level. But, you know, it was an experience. We did it. And again, this was also during the pandemic, too. So, you know, even I think the chickens running around, they had masks on. It's true. It was a great experience. If you got to do it, you got to do it once because life is short. So go out there, try it, check out Boyd's. It was good. But
it's small and quaint.
Boy, did it hurt when I left. Oof. Next one.
The next one is going to be the KOA in Brattleboro, Vermont.
All right, now when we were gone for a year, we decided we missed our kids and we wanted to drive back up to Vermont to see the kids, and we stayed at a KOA, which is really odd, camping in the town that you lived in for 17 years. But we did a KOA because that's the only thing that was really available at the time. And KOAs, boy, these aren't cheap.
They're not cheap either. No.
And this is a no-frills KOA. It's right off of a main road, so it's right off of I-91, right off of Route 5. It's cute, don't get me wrong, it's very Vermont. But this cost us how much?
$250.
And before I go any further, someone's making garlic bread, and I'm absolutely starving. So anyhow, how much was this? I totally lost track.
Yeah. $250.
So $250, and we stayed just a weekend.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible.
But it was worth it.
It was worth it to be there for the kids. Was it worth it as an RV park?
No.
I don't know. I don't even know if I was visiting Vermont, if I would pay that money.
It's kind of in a weird area.
It's not anything, like you're not going to walk around that area and go, boy, am I glad I'm here, because there's really not much there. But it was a KOA, and it ranks right up there with some of our pricier stays. But again, the owners, we met them. We did a review from there. It's in the archives. They're great people. But yeah, I'm glad I don't have to go back. Not because of them, but because the kids are moving down south to be closer to us. Next, and our final spot.
Ready?
Ready.
Okay, are you sure?
I'm as sure as this shirt I'm wearing.
Now be out of order for a minute. Is Splash.
Splash RV Resort. So we learned about Splash from Life Rerouted, which is another YouTube channel that we've had the pleasure of seeing on and off for a few months. And when we were in Tybee Island, Georgia, we were panicking about our next stay, and we found this place that was close to my RV mail, which is who does our domicile and everything. So 2 birds, 1 stone. Splash was an up-and-coming RV resort, and it was fairly reasonable in the off-season for us. And we knew that we had a lot of things to do in that area of Milton and Crestview. We wanted to get a new truck. We wanted to establish our Florida residency. We wanted to move things around. We were still trying to figure out this full-time life and get everything situated. And quite honestly, we were scared to really just take off. And we stayed there for 2 months.
But it was 2 months that was needed.
Yeah.
Like we got a lot done in that time.
This is another place that we did a review for them. It's in the archives as well under our campground reviews playlist. They're great people. They didn't give me any discount for doing that review, which if they had known that we're going to be the big time YouTubers that we are now, they probably would have given us a hookup. But all they did was open the doors for us. But we were happy to be there, and for what it was at the time, we paid how much, Karri?
For the 2 months, we paid a little over $2,000.
So yeah, and I think it was more along the lines of $2,200. She doesn't want to tell you this, but I will say this: they had a lazy river that when it was warm enough, we were able to go in March. So it was fantastic. They had a pool, they had a heated pool, they had a jacuzzi. It was nice. They were really up and coming and the things that they were going to do. Now we've looked about going back there, and I couldn't afford it. It's just, I think it's something astronomical. It's like $2,000 a month now, and that's in the off season. So a lot of our time in Florida now is basically 1,000 trails parks, because Florida is insane for pricing.
If we ever were to go back down that way, I think, wouldn't you agree that we would stay more of like in the Navarre area?
I think Navarre Beach is probably one of our favorite areas just to be at, and we have seen a couple of RV parks there that I think if we end up back in that area at some point, that's probably where we would stay next. But yeah, as you can tell, there's a wide range here, and really the underlying message, as is with all our videos, is that don't ever let anybody else tell you how to live RV life. You do it your way, whether it's part-time, full-time, anytime, no time, whatever you got to do. Make sure that you get out there and you make life happen for you while you can before it's too late. Because really, at the end of the day, only you can redesign your life.
Yeah.
That's it. We'll catch you guys in the next one.